Hello everybody, I'm Ken Hohenberg. I'm the Chief of Police for the Kennewick Police Department. I want to welcome you to our virtual Breakfast with the Chief. I'm sorry that we can't be together in person, but I think everybody understands the reason for that. And it is my honor to introduce the president of the Kennewick Police Foundation. He's a retired commander with the Kennewick Police Department. He believes in the foundation so much, now he volunteers his time for free. Please welcome retired Commander Craig Littrell.
Thanks, Chief. This is Craig Littrell. I'm the president of the Kennewick Police Foundation. And we're here today to welcome you, to thank you for being supporters of the foundation. We love to have you here at our virtual breakfast this morning. And we're here for a reason. The Kennewick Police Foundation was formed to help the men and women of the Kennewick Police Department in many different ways. And one of the biggest ways is to give them the tools to reach out to the community and help people that are in crisis and to get them the resources that they need. We can only do that with your generous donations that come in to support this program. And so we're here this morning to ask. We're here this morning to say, can you help the Kennewick Police Department? Give us the funds that we need to go out and do our job. With the COVID crisis right now, problems aren't diminishing. The need is real, the need is huge, and we need your support. Okay, during our event this morning, you're going to hear from several of our police officers that will talk about specific situations where they are able to come along a citizen and provide the help that is needed. It takes your support. It takes the financial resources to make these programs happen and to be successful. To donate, to support us, you can either come into the Kennewick Police Department, mail a donation into the Kennewick Police Department, or go online to the Kennewick Police Department Foundation website, and you'll find a donation button there. And you'll also find the foundation post office box, and so you could actually mail a contribution to that location. Thank you.
It's really an honor to be here today to say a few words about our Kennewick Police Foundation. Just a little history about the foundation. It was started in 2009. We started off really not knowing what we were going to do and where we were going to head. And in 2015, myself and a couple of people that you will hear from later today, we were having breakfast and we were talking about really the need to empower our police officers to be able to go out and help people that truly needed help. We come across all kinds of people coming through Kennewick, people that live here in Kennewick that have had issues beyond their control at times. And as first responders, we're on the scene of a lot of different situations where we have the ability to make a difference. And prior to us starting the Community Care Fund, officers oftentimes had to reach into their own pockets and be able to pay for things themselves. And that happened on a regular basis. That's one of the things, if you look at the men and women of the Kennewick Police Department and as you listen to their stories, they really understand the core values of public service and our core job of helping people. And so through the Community Care Fund, which was developed in 2015, we've been able to help over 400 individuals and families and not only be able to provide immediate need regardless of the time of day or day of the week, but we've also been able to give people hope, and oftentimes that's a bigger blessing than the monetary expenditures that's made as well. In addition to the Community Care Fund, it's important for people to kind of understand how a foundation works. A lot of people want to donate to the Community Care Fund. My wife and I, we donate to the Kennewick Police Foundation. If the Community Care Fund runs low, the foundation board members can always make a decision to put more money into that account. And that's the way we've been able to make sure that we've had the ability to support the men and women of the Kennewick Police Department. Really, as I look back since 2015 and as I read through the stories of the different things that we've been able to do to help people, never in my wildest dream would I believe that this program would grow to the magnitude that it has. It's not only very active in the Kennewick Police Department, it's spread throughout Tri-City law enforcement. All the different law enforcement agencies now have a community care program, maybe not exactly like Kennewick's, but very similar to Kennewick's. It's spread to other parts of the state, and it's also spread to other parts of the country. I've had individuals that I've gone to training or conferences with in other parts of the country that have said, send me that information, we want to do that in our community. So I'm very humbled by the support that we've had, very blessed to be in a community that understands the importance of police officers being able to make a difference. And as I look through, the great schools that we have, the great business community that we have, and certainly the great citizens that we have in the city of Kennewick, we're honored to be able to police not only with compassion and respect, but also to be able to make a difference where we see that and the need is right before us.
So my name is Officer Tim Harris. I'm the school resource officer in the middle schools here in the city of Kennewick. This last year when I was working at Highlands Middle School, I was contacted by the Community and Schools counselor in which she was looking for assistance for a mother that had come to her office. And the Community and Schools has some resources for them, but what she was looking for was something a little beyond what she was able to do. So I went down there and I met with the mother, who actually had 2 students that went to my school where I worked. And I talked with her, and she told me a little bit about her situation and how she'd actually been kicked out of her apartment by her husband, along with her 2 children and her grandbaby. And she was actually living out of her vehicle at that time. And quite kind of a sad story, and kind of the history of things that kind of unfolded, and she just kind of released those things, and a lot of tears were given. You could tell that this woman was really looking for help and some assistance. And she was trying to look for housing, she was trying to look for assistance through family, but it hadn't quite come to fruition to where she could get those things. So fortunately, through the Community Care Fund, I was able to provide that for her in that moment. And I told her, I said, okay, we're going to meet down at this motel, and I'll be able to provide some place for you to stay for the next few days. So I was able to meet up with her just shortly after, and sure enough, as she pulled up with her 2 children and her grandchild, I saw that the seats had been taken out of the vehicle, and there were blankets and bedding, and they'd actually been living out of their vehicle. And in that moment, I knew that that was an important moment in which I was able to provide a service to the community. Not just being a police officer and security in the school, but an actual help so they could transition to some more permanent housing from that point. And she had done her part to find that and to find assistance to the family. So I was able to get her some housing through the weekend, in which on the latter end of that week, she was going to be able to have some more permanent housing available to her. As an officer, we're out and we're contacting and in contact with the community on a daily basis. And sometimes there's situations where it's not just a law enforcement purpose in which we need to be available for, but actually a community service in which people need something in which they can receive help in that instance, and it's often on a financial basis. And when we have the funds available to do that, and you're actually in the homes of these people and you see some of these tragic things that they face, we're able to provide that to them to kind of help them transition and maybe get out of a bad situation and maybe into a better one. And it really is a game changer for a lot of people. And every time that I've used the Community Care Fund, it's been a very gracious moment for each individual that it's touched, and they've always been very grateful about it. Thank you for supporting the Kennewick Police Foundation and the Community Cares Fund. It's a great opportunity for me as a police officer to be able to have a tool to go out and assist our community, which the citizens of Kennewick deserve.
I'm Marie Mosley, the city manager for the city of Kennewick. And our first responders do an amazing job providing service in our community. They are the ones that see firsthand on a daily basis the needs that we have in our community. The Kennewick Police Foundation and the Community Cares Program provide the resources to our first responders to be able to help those that are in immediate need. We're very fortunate to have the Kennewick Police Foundation, who really helps to supplement and complement the work that we do in the community. We have priority public safety needs in our community that we deliver on a daily basis, and the Kennewick Police Foundation really helps us to be able to deliver those priority services. I really encourage all of our businesses and our community to better understand what the Kennewick Police Foundation provides in our community, and really encourage everyone to learn about the Kennewick Police Foundation, what they provide to the community and the support that they provide, and get involved and find out, how you can be involved in the Community Cares program or the Kennewick Police Foundation, and also how that supports the community in our police force.
My name's Rosemary, and the way the police department helped me was they helped me by giving my family money so they can pay my bills so that we can keep our apartment. And it helped us a lot, and we thank them a lot. My sister got sick with leukemia, so ever since that she had to go to the hospital for a while, the ER, and they couldn't help her really much, so they took her to Spokane in the hospital. Around Christmas time, I went shopping with the police to shop for my family. I picked out a heated blanket for my mom and my sister because they needed some, because it was really cold in the wintertime. I picked out some stuff for my cousins and games so they can be busy around Christmas time, and I kind of got some stuff for my Thea that would make her feel okay. When I came in today, the police surprised me with a brand new bike, and I was happy a lot because it came with a helmet and a horn and a locker and these little lights that I could put on the tires so that it would light up, and I can kind of be the police officer of my neighborhood. I feel like my family's more happy now because we didn't really have anything to do until they came and helped us, and I just feel like they helped us a lot. I just want to say thank you a lot. They helped us a lot, and I'm happy a lot.
So my name's Jeff Lemke, and I have owned the Fast Signs franchise in Kennewick for 26 plus years, and about 5 years ago, Dave Redder called me and let me know that he is implementing a community cares program through the Kennewick Police Department Foundation, and asked if I would consider being involved. And I told him, yeah, I would really encourage anybody, whether they're business folks or just people out in the community, if you have a heart for this like I do, I'd really encourage you to consider donating and sponsoring the Community Cares program.
Okay, my name is Sergeant Jason Keel. I work for the Kennewick Police Department and have done so for the last 8 or 9 years. I was a state trooper before, and I've got over 22 years of law enforcement experience. And what has brought us here now is I've had this occasion where last October I had a male who was clearly homeless contacted me near Clearwater and Perry, and he asked me if there was any place that he could stay. It was at night, and he asked me if there was any place that he could stay in Kennewick, and I told him that we didn't have any place to stay, but there was a mission in Pasco, and asked him if he wanted to stay over there. Well, then we realized that it was actually on Friday night, and so in order to stay at the mission over there, you have to check in earlier in the day. He had just gotten out of jail and spent about 15 days in jail trespassing, for trespassing. And so his intent was, he said that, as I got to talk to him more, he said that wherever he slept, he would be trespassing because it's all private property. And so he was trying to find a place that he could lawfully sleep, get some rest, so that he didn't go back to jail again. And in talking to him further, one of the things that he was most proud of is that even though he did 15 days in jail, he had been clean he had a substance abuse problem, and so an addiction, and he had been clean for 15 days, and he said that he hadn't felt that good in a long time. And so in talking to him further, he actually used to be a baseball player up at Central Washington University, broke his back, I don't know what it was from, I think it was from playing baseball, broke his back, got addicted to the painkillers, to the OxyContin. When his prescription ran out, then he turned to street drugs, fentanyl, and started using street drugs to help with the pain, and then it just furthered his addiction. since that time, he became disowned from his family, because along with addiction goes deceit and things like that. And so I kind of, I just felt at that moment, you know, sometimes people need a break. And I just kind of felt at that moment that, you know, he needed a break. He just needed just something to help him get through. I asked him about long-term goals, and he said on Monday he was going to go in and get his driver's license and, you know, at least start that process. And so, you know, we talked about future goals and trying to get him further along than from what he is, where he was at. So I was really grateful to be able to have access to the Community Caretaking Fund, and to be able to, I decided to put him up in a hotel for a couple of nights just to get him through the weekend, so that on Monday he could go and he could start working on, you know, furthering where he was at in his life. And you know, when you feel that that low, right? When your family's disowned you, you're living on the streets, he didn't have any food, you know, anything like that. I asked when the last he had ate at another location earlier in the day. But when you're feeling that low, sometimes you just need a little break. And the Community Caretaking Fund really allowed me to be able to throw this guy a bone and say, hey, listen, we're going to try to help you. We want you to be better, and we want you to be able to get your feet underneath you. And he was really grateful. And so I was able to use the fund and to go put him up in a hotel room for a couple of nights. The Community Caretaking Fund has really allowed us, without hesitation, being able to say, hey, listen, we can help you out. You know, we can get you through this moment so that tomorrow you can kind of rethink things, and that tomorrow will be a better day. And so the Community Caretaking Fund has had a huge impact. I've never seen another one around, and I've traveled the state in law enforcement. I've never seen another one around like it. We have other cities around us that want us to use our Community Caretaking Fund. They're reaching out to us to help even other cities. And so it really is an invaluable tool. It really allows us to be able to help people that are struggling or having a challenge in their lives. There's a lot of people that struggle in our community, you know, and when the lights go out and most of us are out sleeping in our beds and not worrying about what's coming on, there are people that are out there struggling, that may not have a meal, that may have kids that don't have clothes, that may not have a roof over their head that night, that may be involved in a domestic situation, that just need just a little hand to help out. And the Community Caretaking Fund allows Kennewick police officers reach out and help these people that just need a little bit of a hand. And we are so tremendously grateful for the foundation and for the fund, so that we could do that without hesitation. Whereas before it was always, what are we going to do? Now we just say, hey, we're going to do it. You know, as a supervisor, guys call me and they'll say, hey, we need to help these people out. And as a supervisor, it's really great because I go, okay, that's what we're doing, right? I've never said, no, let's not do this. If an officer, I tell them, if they want to help, just help them, right? And it's only because people have contributed to the Community Caretaking Fund that's allowed us to be able to do that. And we couldn't do that before with the fund. We just didn't have that luxury. So it really has been a tremendous service to our community.
It's been an honor for me to be a part of the Kennewick Police Department Community Care Program from the beginning. One of the best things that it provides is leadership for our local police to, when they're in the field, they can help people that are in need right on the spot. And I know that lots of police officers used to do that anyway, but it was always done out of their own pocket. And when Chief and Jim and I had breakfast that one day, we said, how do we help our officers that are on the street, in the field, make quicker decisions to help people on the spot that are really in need? And so knowing that our officers are able to help right there, no matter what the crisis might be for the people, it's been the neatest thing I've been involved in all my years of business, and trying to give back and make the Tri-Cities a better place to be. When we originally kicked this program off, I called several business people that I knew and told them what the program was going to be, and 100% of the people that I talked to gave at that time. And I would ask, I guess, our community to continue to give, to continue to help us be the leader in the Northwest. I'm not aware of any other police organization that has this program, and so we need to continue to fund this program, and we're not going to, be calling everybody. You know what? We haven't had to do that. We did initially to kick it off. Then everybody, this Tri-Cities is the most incredible place you can find for how they care and how they give. And so please everybody, let's continue to support this program by your gifts and by your giving, and we'll continue to be leaders and help those people that are in need, which especially now is very important.
Hello, my name is Scott Mitchell. I'm with Hapo Community Credit Union. I'm really proud that we support the Kennewick Police Department and the Community Care Fund. You can hear stories all the time about police officers and with the ability to access a resource through the Community Care Fund of how that touches the people in need in the community. Whether it's a hotel or a meal or just helping somebody out that's traveling to and from somewhere. All the stories are extremely touching, but all of them have a common denominator, and that's everybody is in need of something, and that need is met by the police officers, by the Community Care Fund. I encourage everyone to support the Community Care Fund and the Kennewick Police Department. The funds that the police officers use to serve needs throughout the community is a wonderful benefit to everyone, from the person receiving the gift, the person in need, to the police officer, and to the whole community. So I would encourage you to donate to the Community Care Fund.
Hi, I'm Officer Sanders with the Kennewick Police Department. I'm a patrol officer, and I had the opportunity to use the Community Care Fund just at the beginning of this year. We had a refugee come in because she was struggling at the time. She had recently been in a domestic violence situation. Shortly after that, she ended up in the shelter. She went to the shelter. She had a 3-year-old son with her as well, and the 3-year-old son was causing a lot of noise and crying often, and it was bothering a lot of the people in the shelter. So she was, by peer pressure, kind of forced out of the shelter because they were kind of being mean to her and getting after her quite often for her son. Shortly after that, she did find a place to go into somebody's home, and again, that didn't work out very well. They were having her work quite often. She would work all day cleaning their house and taking care of all their stuff. She felt like she was a slave in that other house. Another citizen to the Tri-Cities had come out and saw this egregious situation that she was in and tried helping her out. She tried multiple different means and they weren't working out. She finally heard about the Community Care Fund that Kennewick offers, and so she came to the Kennewick Police Department. I met with both of them and realized that they were perfect candidates for the Community Care Fund. They needed a hotel just for one night. That's all they were asking for, just to help them out. But they needed it in Pasco because the individual that is helping her out lived and worked in Pasco and was trying to help her get a job and get housing. So we set up a hotel for her over in Pasco, and it was the Community Care Fund was just infectious because once we got to the hotel, they said, well, we'll only charge you a fraction of the price because we want to help out as well. So it was really awesome that the community over there as well helped us out and made sure that the Community Care Fund didn't have to pay any more than what they really needed to pay. And so we got her hotel for the night, and she was doing good after that. Gave her my information to call me if she has any other problems, and I haven't got a call, so that's a good thing. But I know that this female was in a bad situation. She was down and out, and it was the generosity and the love that the people donate to the Community Care Fund is what really helped her out and got her back on her feet and allowed her to go after the American dream that we all try for. I believe the Kennewick Police Foundation is huge. There's so many people out there, especially now as we see with this pandemic going on, that people are down and out and people need help. And we do everything we can, and the Kennewick Police Department Community Care Fund really helps a lot of people out. It gets them off their feet just for a temporary hotel for the night or some gas for a car. There's many opportunities for us to help people out, and we seek those people. We try to look for them and help them out. We contact people all day long, every day, and we always have this in the back of our mind. How can we help these people? How can we help the citizens of our community?
My name's Jim Sprackman. I work at the Pacific Northwest National Lab. I'm here today as a
sponsor and fan and enthusiast about the Kennewick Police Foundation and the Community Care Fund within that foundation. Well, it's like this. We are very much in debt to these patrolmen, patrolwomen on the Kennewick Police Department. They're out there for us every day. They're out there during the COVID pandemic. They're out there every night. They're protecting us from the boogeyman, and they're there to help us and serve us. And we're exceptionally thankful for their service. And this is an opportunity here for us to make their lives easier. And by supporting the Kennewick Police Foundation and by providing support to the Community Care Fund, you're helping your fellow citizens and you're helping our officers who are out there for us every day do their job and feel good about it. So please do give and support in this very, very meaningful way.
Well, my name's Tom Fields, and I have the privilege and honor of being the senior pastor of the Garden Tri-Cities. We wanted to help the police department win, and then they were also working to help the public win, and so we just thought, what a great partnership to combine our efforts and help others win. So it's my belief that by helping the foundation through Kennewick Police Department, you're positioning people to meet needs in an almost instantaneous situation. And to be able to direct traffic to the Kennewick Police Department and say that they are equipped and prepared to help you right now is such an incredible opportunity for us to join together in one community, as one functioning body meeting the needs of our community.
So my name is Michael Novakovich. I'm one of the trustees at the Garden Church. And as it relates to law enforcement, we've got a great love for law enforcement at the Garden. Matter of fact, some of our Garden family members are law enforcement. We host an event called Back the Blue. And the Kennewick Police Department's been very active in that. And through that, we've had some great conversations with the chief. And it was through those conversations we learned about the work of the foundation. And when people give, it empowers officers to have this interaction with individuals in real time where they can provide for their needs when the need is the greatest, which is at that point a crisis. And so rather than trying to find a resource, it's enabled officers to have the resource at their hands, at their fingertips. And that's an exciting thing when we talk about the community health and wellness and just having quality of life here in the Tri-Cities. The foundation is one of those things that really adds to the quality of life we all get to enjoy. You know, an investment in the Kennewick Police Foundation is an investment in this community. If you enjoy the quality of life that we have here in the Tri-Cities, and it's pretty outstanding, this is a way that you can ensure that not only you get to enjoy it, but others, maybe those less fortunate, have that same opportunity. So I encourage you to give to the Kennewick Police Foundation. They're good stewards of the money that's provided for them. They've been great partners with us, and I'm sure you'd find that partnership valuable too.
I am Officer Tony Valdez with the Kennewick Police Department, and I've been here 25 years, and my current assignment is School Resource Officer for Southridge High School. But when the kids aren't in school, I'm not either, and I'm on the road working a patrol shift just out in the streets. In December, I had an opportunity to go to a call where a female was in distress. She was asking for funds to stay at a hotel. When I went there, she explained her story, which was that she had moved from Ocean Shores to the Tri-Cities in Kennewick to take care of her ailing mother. And she'd been doing that for about 6 months. And kind of a tragic thing happened. When she was there, she also brought her 4 children, ages 3 to 9. And while she was in the home caring for her mother, the stepfather had molested one of the children. So there was an investigation that was underway, and she had to leave the house to protect the children. But she didn't have much money, and she had stayed at a hotel one night, and she only had $85 to her name. And she told me the night before she started getting stressed out, had a panic attack. The prosecutors wanted her to stay through the weekend so her victim child could get an interview, forensic interview with SARC. And she just didn't know how she was going to be able to stay. And she basically said if she couldn't get any funds, she was going to use that $85, have her kids sleep in the car that night, fill up with gas, and head back to Montana, where she actually had family members there. And that would have been tragic. She would have skipped that interview, and that could have, really hurt the integrity of the case that we were working at the time. So we were able to work with the hotel, and we got her an actual full week stay at the hotel for $400. And then we went to Albertsons and got food gift cards so she could feed her children for that week. And I'm telling you, she was super relieved. But at the time, she was very stressed out, and she was in dire need, and she was pretty much hopeless. But I wasn't, because I knew we had this community care fund, and I thought it was a great time to be able to deploy that money to help her out in that situation. So it turned out really good. She did stay with the hotel, and she was able to get her victim child to that interview. I'm not sure where the case is at now, but I can guarantee if we did not have that money, she would have had her kids sleep in that car that night, and she would have filled up with gas, and she would have left town and gone back to Montana, where she did have some family. So I think it worked out best for her family, and her kids. It worked out best for me as a law enforcement officer responding to that, and it also helped the prosecutor because we were able to keep the family here an extra week so she could get that interview. So the Kennewick Police Foundation and that Community Care Fund is absolutely vital for a lot of people in our community. When I'm working the road as a patrol officer, we do see a lot of people in need. And then when I'm actually working as a school resource officer, a lot of community members don't realize that a lot of our students are on free and reduced lunches. They live in poverty, and some of them are even homeless. And I've actually used the Community Care Fund for some of my students up at Southridge. I know that all the SROs have used it before to help those students. I mean, these are some of our most vulnerable victims to poverty and needs that they are seeking because they are so young, and they rely on their parents to get them where they need to go, buy them the clothes that they need, and sometimes they just fall short of that, and the Community Care Fund is able to help them out, and it is extremely important. Without that, I don't know what we'd do. During this time of this pandemic, needs are higher than ever, and I would really like to ask for your support. If you can donate to the Kennewick Police Foundation and this Community Care Fund. It's extremely important to our department, the police officers that patrol the streets, and especially our community members that are in need.
My name's Dick Hoke. Actually, my name is Richmond, but nobody calls me Richmond, it's Dick. And the support that we provide to the foundation, to the care portion of it, is really from Diane, my wife, and me, so we do it as a team. I think there are certain things that you do just because they're the right thing to do. It doesn't have to do with politics or religion or anything else. You just know that helping other people who need it is the correct thing to do. And when someone sets up something like this for the people who are on the front line and run into that need, it's worth getting behind. And I suggest everybody who can helps out on this.
Hello, I'm Don Barnes, Commissioner at the Port of Kennewick. The Port has long been a supporter of the Kennewick Police Department Foundation and the important contributions they make to our community. So I'm asking you to please join me and the Port in supporting our KPD Foundation now more than ever. Thank you.
So, as I mentioned before, besides the community care program, which most people know about, the foundation has made a huge, huge difference when it's come to providing us with some really viable tools that have been needed and not budgeted through the normal budget process. A lot of times people will say, well, why doesn't the city of Kennewick just buy that? And we compete for a lot of different resources as a citywide team. And certainly when it comes to making sure that we have nice parks and nice streets and safe drinking water and our toilets flush, those are all important things. And certainly police and fire are right at the top of the priority list. But One year, through talking with some of the fire personnel, we decided we wanted to put the defibrillators, the AEDs, in our patrol cars, and that was over a $40,000 expense to buy that. We worked with the fire department to make sure that we bought equipment that was the same as theirs, so that our officers, when they were on the scene, and because firefighters do sleep during the middle of the night, and oftentimes during the daytime or even at night, we might be closer to a location. So we could arrive at a heart attack scene before the paramedics do. And with our AEDs, we can connect and we can start the process. And then when the paramedics arrive, they can take over. And then when they need to transport the patient, they can just simply unplug our defibrillator and connect to theirs, and our police officers will still have their equipment so that they can respond to the next need if that comes around. That's a huge thing. We just recently purchased a canine and got a new canine in service. And when you look at the price of the dog, the price of training, the equipment goes along with that, that's about a $25,000 expenditure. Before we had the foundation, we would go out and raise money in the community to pay for our canine program. And we first started the canine program back in 1987. And I am proud to say, since 1987, this community has always purchased and supported our canine program. That's never been budgeted for. And as a result of that, now, in a restricted account that we have within the foundation, we're able to make sure that we have funding so that when we have a canine that needs to be replaced, that gets retired, gets injured and has to be taken out of service, that we have the ability to go out and replace that canine. It's just been a great partnership. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we have a very selfless board of directors. They're all volunteer board of directors. They don't get compensated for anything. So for every dollar that gets donated to the Kennewick Police Foundation, that money goes back out to do good in the community. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for the friends and for the supporters over the years making a difference in this community. I know these are tough times with this COVID-19 and the challenges that we have in the community. If you have the ability and you choose to make a donation and are able to do that, we certainly appreciate that. But we also appreciate the support that you've provided to us over the years. So with that, thank you for joining us, and thank you for your support.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your continued support to the Kennewick Police Department and the men and women of the Kennewick Police Department.